We're here today with John Collins. He's going to introduce us to some of the artwork we have here at Immaculate Conception Chapel and give us a little bit of the history. So where are you going to take us?
I'm going to take you everything I can see around here.
Okay, leave the floor to you, John.
Very good. Welcome to Immaculate Conception Chapel. It is the chapel for the theologians in what's called the Upperside here at Overbrook.
There you go. What does Upperside mean?
Upperside is the theologic. The lower side is the college.
Why is it upper? Just because the vice rector lives up there?
There are several reasons. Number one, the ground on which it is located is elevated. Number two, the students are graduate students and not undergraduate students. And number three, the term came from the 1870s when it was just one building and one was on one side and one side was on the other. So it actually goes back to the beginning of Overbrook in the 1870s. All right. So it didn't start in 1928 with the two buildings. Right now we are in the vestry or the Narthex, so before we go in I'll show you a few things that would catch your eye before you went into the chapel proper. So I'll start with something very simple, a bell. The bell in this chapel is different from the one in St. Martin's Chapel, which is the Collegians, because the architectural style is different. This is Roman architecture, or Romanesque, which meant that they put everything necessary for the chapel within the chapel. The other one is Renaissance architecture, which meant that they had outbuildings, a building for the bell, a building for the baptistry, and so forth. So here we have the bell inside the building. A tradition at the seminary is on the last Friday before their ordinations, those to be ordained priests come out and give this a yank to kind of show that they are about to leave the building. I gave it a yank 50 years ago. This'll shock them. Now they wonder why the bell is ringing. And so they give the bell a ring and they walk out these doors, and lined up are all the seminarians and the faculty and the staff, and they are clapped out of St. Charles. The tradition goes back, it's had many forms over the years. They used to line the road when we had 600. We can't fit 600 in here, so they've condensed it a little. This is a plaque in memory of the alumni, the priest graduates of St. Charles, who were killed in action during the Second World War. There were about 38 or 39 Catholic chaplains killed during the war, and 6 of them came from St. Charles. So it lists their names and what branch of the service they were in, and the date and the place of their death. So we remember those who, even in doing peaceful work of chaplaincy, gave their lives for the service of our country. And we have here a statue of the Blessed Mother. It is a gift of a woman named Catherine C. Power in memory of her beloved brother, William A. Power. Father Power was a member of the ordination class of 1872, exactly 100 years before my ordination class. That was the first class ever ordained from this property. From 1836 until 1871, the seminary was in Center City, but it was moved here in September of 1871, making the 72 class the first ordination class. So he was ordained as class number 1 from Overbrook. Unfortunately, his life was rather short. He lived just until the 1880s, and so he probably died in his late 30s or early 40s. And so his sister, to commemorate him, commissioned this statue of the Blessed Mother to be put up in his honor. Now we have the crucifix, which was donated to us by a saint. And the saint is St. Catherine Drexel, who donated this in honor of her father and her stepmother and her sister. The father was Francis Anthony Drexel, who was a benefactor of St. Charles. As the building was going up, one of the major things that he did was commission the painting that's in the center of the apse. After we get into the church, you'll see that. Mr. Drexel was rather a wealthy man. He was partners with J.P. Morgan in Drexel and Morgan Company. And at the time of his death in 1885, he left almost his entire property to his 3 daughters, approximately $15.5 million. That's $1885. So it's thought to be maybe about $200 million today. Her mother died in childbirth, so she was raised by a stepmother, Emma Bouvier, of the same clan as that which married into the Kennedy family. And Mrs. Drexel, Miss Bouvier, died in 1883, 2 years before her husband. So after the death of the father and the stepmother, the sister later died in childbirth. And so Catherine Drexel, around 1902, decided in honor of her father, who was a great benefactor of St. Charles, and she commissioned this crucifix, and the inscription is written on the bottom that it comes from Catherine Drexel in honor of her 3 family members. We have a painting of Our Lady of Guadelupe, which was given to us by the Cardinal Archbishop of Mexico City around the year 2000. Mexico City is the oldest diocese on the mainland of North America. Havana, Cuba is older, but the mainland in the United States, Juan Zamarunga, and that's the Archbishop to whom Juan Diego showed the mantle with the pictures and the roses,